Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of the Sports Pub. I understand any music that you hear played on this show, we do not own the rights to, have not sung, will not sing, or actually produced or made the song. How everybody doing tonight?
What's good? What's good? Everybody good?
Everybody good. What's up, fam?
Real good.
Like Thrill said, welcome to this week's episode of the Sports Pub, episode 2. We are proud to bring this to you, and we appreciate all the support we've gotten so far, all the positive feedback. Keep it coming. Tell all your friends. Send the links to everybody you know, man, so we can get this thing jumping. I'd like to introduce my brothers in crime tonight. Got my man Gabe, GL Harris. What's up, Gabe?
What's good, fam? How's everybody doing? Woo, pig suet, baby.
Yes, sir. We got my man Napoleon Gifford. What's up, young fella?
What up, man? Go Dog, representing South Georgia.
Yes, sir. And then we can finally, last but not least, we got my man Willie Thrill Brown. What's going on, my Michigan fam?
Lock in, baby. We down this year, but we ain't going nowhere.
I feel you, baby.
Literally. No, we ain't going nowhere. We ain't nowhere. No games, no nothing. We ain't going nowhere.
I know y'all just canceling games. It's like it's better than a long tail. All right, first of all, I want to start off with this, man. And I know y'all seen all the news surrounding this and all of the rhetoric and all this stuff, but James Harden situation. Okay, I made it clear last week that I thought James Harden was overrated, and I still stand by that. Okay, he's a fantastic scorer. He's one of the greatest scorers in NBA history. I'm not taking that away from him. Okay, but what he does on the defensive side of the ball leaves a lot to be desired for me. That being said, all of these concessions that have been made for him, and he can't get out of the first. I mean, he's been to the Western Conference Finals, I think, twice. Okay, but then every time he gets into the playoffs, he has these epic meltdowns. And I'm just trying to understand, how does an organization turn their entire, essentially turn their entire operation over to somebody that can't get it done, man? I mean, James Harden is now the number one. He's not. He's not leading anybody to a championship. He would be a great complimentary superstar on the team, but he's not the man. So tell me, am I wrong in thinking that?
Well, you got to look at Houston. Houston had been out of the playoffs for, I believe, 4 years before they made that big trade to Harden. And, Houston wasn't used to that. So, superstar players having concessions made to them is nothing new at all. Give what we always say, talent breeds tolerance.
That's right.
You get away with that because you know that this fool going to go out and give you 30 a night. Now, we'll agree with you that I don't think that you're ever going to win with him as your lead guard. His usage rate is too high. He's too passive on defense. But his game is set to the point where now either he is unwilling to play off the ball or has just flat out forgotten how to play off the ball. That was Chris Paul's problem with it, is that if he didn't have the ball in his hands, he just sat in the corner and wouldn't do anything. So I don't see – I agree with you. I don't see him ever leading the team, but I don't know what you can do with him now. I think he too far gone. What you think, Gabe?
Well, first of all, James Harden and defense should never be mentioned in the same sentence. That joker has not played defense since he left Arizona State, more than likely. Because I don't remember him in Oklahoma City, and I definitely ain't seen it in Houston under D'Antoni's system. Defense is not their forte. Now, as far as him individually, like you said, Quick, one of the greatest scorers that we've seen in this era.
Right.
The boy can just flat out put the ball in the hoop.
Mm-hmm.
But he's in a situation now where he has 2 years left on his contract. He's gonna be hard to move. Houston has kind of dug himself in a hole in this situation because ain't nobody gonna take going to give up cornerstones to their franchise, future all-star type players, for somebody that's going to come in and dribble a hole in the court.
Yeah.
That's basically what you're going to get. Like Thrill said, he is not effective when the ball's not in his hands. And as you can see, he's run away other superstars by playing this way. He has no desire to change. So, unfortunately, he is who he is. And unless he goes to a market where he's the only draw, you can't bring in another superstar with him because he's going to run them off. They stuck with it. They stuck with him. And unless he buys into Silas's system and says, you know what, I got to change my ways, it's a done deal in Houston. They're going to keep getting what they're getting.
Yeah, man. And I think it's a damn disgrace. He shows up, first game of the season. I mean, Thick Van Exel. I mean, James Harden. I mean, go show up out of shape like that, man. I mean, come on, man. Be professional. I know you want out of there. I know you don't want to be in Houston. I know you want to go to another situation. But, man, that's just ridiculous to be showing up out of shape like that. You know, what's up, Giff? What you think, man?
Hey, man, I'm going to say it like this. I heard George Iceman Gerber say one time, they don't pay me to guard people. They pay people to guard me. All right, so on the flow, you got to respect him. You got to respect what he's going to do. And truth be told, if you don't have that dude in Houston, what you got? Old John Walker, we don't know what he got. And then we got Boogie Cousins. He can't jump over a piece of tissue paper at this point in his career because that Achilles ain't no joke. And then, you know, something else that we ain't thought about either is we don't know what this new front office is telling him or what he's hearing about them that he don't like. Because you got to remember, they don't change that whole front office. Moore ain't there no more, and Dan Tony ain't there. So I don't know what they're trying to tell him as far as like how they see him fit into what they want to do or what they got going on. Because yeah, they offered him this money up front, but we don't know behind closed doors what they trying to tell him about what they want to do with the system or how they want to run their offense. Because if he'll score like he is, I mean, I don't blame him. I'm a scorer, baby. That's what I do. Give me the ball.
No, I got no problem with the scoring, but even Kobe, God rest his soul, Kobe told him that style of basketball is not conducive to winning. You're not Kobe.
Oh, man, listen, I ain't gonna disrespect Bean.
Don't you disrespect Bean. Don't you dare disrespect
Bean. But boy, he was a black hole on that court too.
Okay, but he won.
Before I come through this computer screen.
But he won. Hey, he won.
Okay, so it's cool for him, but it ain't cool for Kobe. I mean, it's cool for Kobe, but it ain't cool for Harden.
Yeah, because Harden ain't got no chips, dog.
Okay, but look who Kobe had on that first run. This ain't gonna be a Kobe bash session, but who he had on that first run?
Okay, Shaq. yeah, Shaq. Okay, but he didn't have Shaq on his second run, though, did he?
No, he didn't.
There we go. He got two chips, but he got two chips after him.
But he wasn't letting that thing go like he used to.
Well, he had to mature. He had to learn how to play a different style.
That's all I'm saying today.
I will say this about Kobe. Now, Thrill will tell you, I've never been a Kobe fan, but I will say this. Kobe played defense. He played on both ends of the floor. James ain't giving you that.
Gabe.
If Kobe was off, if he had an off night, he can still affect the game in some form or fashion.
Gabe.
James is only going to affect the end on the offensive floor, offensive end of the court.
Hey, it's like Iceman said, they don't pay me to guard people. They pay people to guard me.
First of all, you keep bringing up Iceman. Iceman played in 1950. I need a better reference.
I say like this. In the NBA, who out here just playing one-on-one lockdown defense? Everybody playing zone. So
everybody playing zone.
Playing one-on-one. Everybody playing zone.
Bro, you got to at least pretend like you want to be a part on defense.
Okay, So what about D'Antoni? We ain't gonna say that maybe he ain't constructed the defense to get Harden going.
Okay, D'Antoni
ain't never constructed a defense.
So
Okay.
James, once again, we keep coming back to him.
Okay, but my point is this. That hadn't been James Harden's only head coach. He had Kevin McHale, who was a defensive coach.
Yeah.
And James didn't want no part of no defense.
But why is James the only one on the floor not playing defense? At least trying to play defense.
Because he get buckets. Because he doesn't get buckets.
All right, man. All right.
Yeah, MJ had to get MJ had to get buckets too, but hey, he was defensive player of the year.
That's the GOAT.
Yeah, true that. Anyway, let's segue into this.
Hey, watch the tone.
Let's segue into this. We also over the weekend a kind of tragic event that happened during the University of Florida State college basketball game. Giff, can you kind of fill us in on what's going on with that?
Yeah, Keyontae Johnson, he a forward that played for the Florida Gators. He's the preseason SEC Player of the Year, and he actually collapsed on the floor when they played last Saturday against Florida State in Tallahassee. They said basically he was out there, he's just playing, and he just like collapsed, fell on his face, blood everywhere, and he just laid there, he wasn't breathing. And at first he was in critical condition, man. He was medical induced coma for about 3 days, but now he say he's speaking and everything. But one thing I think that keeps coming back is he actually had COVID this summer, and that was one of the things that I was apprehensive about. What this is, man, this thing is new, and we don't know the long-term effects of how this thing is going to play out. And it go back to everybody was picking on the Big Ten because the Big Ten was saying that was one of the things that they had found out from the information they was given, that myocarditis was one of the things that they said that could be linked to COVID. And so that was one of the reasons why they were apprehensive about playing the football season. Now we got this kid, an athlete at the prime of his career, in good physical shape, and all of a sudden he has this happen. Like, it's got to be something to this, man. And, we don't know how this is going to play out. And I get, all the risk that's going to happen. But that's one thing I'm always been like a supporter of the fact that, man, we don't know what this thing is going to look like long term for people. So.
No, I feel you.
Let me say this. First of all, I'm glad the young man is on the road to recovery. I saw a report this morning that he was talking to his parents. He FaceTimed some of his teammates. So he's definitely in good spirits, and hopefully he gets a good prognosis. But you mentioned COVID, and the heart condition could possibly be a side effect or a secondary condition to that. Now, I've been around long enough to see where Hank Gabbins, Reggie Lewis, they've all, succumbed to basketball-related activity on the court, and that was not related to COVID. So I don't want all the young folks that's watching this to think that, if they tested positive for COVID, that this could be, one of the things that could happen to them, because it could be anything. That man could have an enlarged heart to begin with, which a lot of times goes unnoticed in athletes unless they get an actual EKG prior to the season. A lot of these athletes don't know that they have enlarged heart or enlarged blood vessels going to the heart. So it could be a lot of things out there. But the fact that you said the Big Ten mentioned that this is one of the things that could possibly happen, but yet they still came back to play. What does that say about the Big Ten? If they knew something like this could happen, they had the medical intel, but they still came back to play after they saw everybody else playing. What does that say about the Big Ten?
I'm gonna say it like this: they had a lot of pressure. They had a pressure come from the highest office in America. They had parents turning against them, and it was a lot of people that wanted to go out there and play. Now, my thing about this is, It's one thing we got dudes in the NBA doing it, dudes in NFL that are doing it. Those are professional athletes who are being financially compensated for what they are doing. These are young kids who are basically in school, as we say, they student athletes. They got to get their education first, even though they're on campuses where students ain't on campus, but we got athletes there. And all I'm saying is they are sacrificing literally their future to entertain us because they're not being compensated for this in any shape or form.
His income, like you said, he was a preseason SEC player of the year. So to say that he was not going to make that jump to be a professional, his money was coming. His money
not
was
anymore.
Not necessarily.
Not anymore. Not now.
But we're saying that if he was the preseason SEC player of the year, we know had this not happened and he had the season that everybody projected him to have, he was going to go to the league.
Yeah.
So he was going to get paid.
So what if he's 11th man coming off a bench that's a senior that barely played, and this happened? What's the upside for him now?
Well, I'm not going to what if this thing to death. You just said he was a preseason SEC player of the year.
Well, see, Gabe,
That's what you say. That's confident. That's concrete. We ain't talking about somebody coming off the bench.
And go back to what you said, where you said you don't want the kids to think that that's a side effect. It's true. It is a side effect. And I agree with you 100%. Now, the Big Ten said that they had done all these studies, X, Y, and Z. But, man, we all know. We talked about it last week, and we talk about it all the time in the pub. Man, it's that dollar sign. Now, and y'all know my stance. I've said from the minute that this COVID stuff started that they should have scrapped all the seasons. But me, as the selfish fan, I'm going to watch. But looking back, yeah, y'all know my stance on it. I've said they shouldn't have been playing football. They shouldn't be playing basketball. Now, what's that say about me that I'm going to watch? I'm going to watch from the comforts of my home by myself. It's a money-driven league. It showed us all just how money-driven it is, but even though we already knew that. And it's really just a lot of selfish things at play, and I'm just as guilty. I don't want to ever say that I am a selfish fan. If it's on, I'm gonna watch it. As soon as we get done with here, I'm gonna turn that NFL game on.
Well, we're all guilty. I mean, we're all guilty. We're gonna watch. I mean, that's just no getting around that. We're gonna watch. But I understand what Gabe's saying,
right?
But I'm kind of on Giff's side right now because, again, you don't know. We don't know. Prime example. Let me give you another example. The other night, the Baltimore-Cleveland game on Monday night, great finish. My boys pulled it out. Okay, what happened in the middle of that game? Lamar, who had COVID, and he was not asymptomatic. He had genuine symptoms, okay, from having COVID, and that's been documented. Had to run back into the locker room because he started cramping up in his hands, in his legs, and his fingers, and everything else. Okay, thankfully, he did come back out and was able to pull the game out. But I know it's been mentioned on a couple of occasions on some of these sports talk shows that they feel like some of the residual effects of the COVID prognosis that he got may have played a factor in his cramping and the way his body reacted to, the stress of a game situation. Now, I don't know that. I'm not going to sit here because I'm not a medic. I'm not going to sit here and say that because I don't know. All I'm saying is, if that is the case, then this thing could have a great impact on, especially on athletes or anybody else for that matter, bigger than what we know. And again, is the risk worth it? It depends on who you are and what you're. We talked about this last week. Gabe and I really went back and forth on this. And I understand his point of view. I really do. Because if you come from from dire situations and you're trying to get out of that situation, that risk is worth it. And I respect that. But if you come from a good background where you don't have to necessarily make that decision, okay, or make certain decisions based on health reasons, then you're allowed. You do that as well. So I don't want anybody to think that, I don't see both sides of this argument. All I'm saying is I'm more of a better safe than sorry because your long-term health, you can't get it back. You can't get it back. If you don't make the league, but you sick for the rest of your life, bruh, I mean, that's just not good.
Right.
I mean, that's just how I look at it.
Yeah.
My thing is, I just don't like all the speculation and the opinions that's thrown around, especially in the media. And then we do it ourselves just in conversation. We do it all the time in the pub. It's okay. Well, I think this could happen. Who am I? I ain't nobody. But yet I'm putting my opinion out there as if it's fact because that's the way I feel. That's what I don't like. I mean, out of nowhere, Giff pulled up the fact that this could be COVID related. A lot of things could be COVID related. Me not being able to sleep at night could be COVID related. But I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to say that or not accuse anybody or say that that's the reason why. It's just a lot of opinions being floated out there that just don't have no merit. They ain't got no background. That's what
But
I
that's
don't
my,
like.
but that's my point though, Gabe. We don't. It's like Quick said. We rather err on the side of caution because we don't know. Like we don't know. And like I said,
If you don't know, don't put it out there. Don't go telling everybody all these different things. If you don't know, just be quiet.
Oh, this America, baby. That ain't gonna happen. This America.
That's the problem. That's the problem. Everybody got a damn opinion.
Yeah,
Everybody got a platform to put their voice out there.
Exactly.
That's why we here.
but my point, like I said, was like, man, it's different if he was in the NBA, but we talking about a kid, a kid that's supposed to be in college to go to school. We know the NCAA motto. They student athletes, but we know they athlete students. All right, because like I said, that kid had that accident when he fell out. You think they stopped that game? They got that young man on that stretcher, kept going. Check up. Let's go. Next possession.
Well, I do know they canceled the next 3 games.
Yeah, they did. They
canceled the next 3 games. The University of Florida has already canceled the next 3 games as a precautionary measure to allow their teammates to fully grasp what's going on with their teammates.
So, so think about it too. If I'm a kid, you don't think that would scare me of going back on that court? Like mentally, you don't think I'm thinking about that in my head?
Of course. Anybody in the stands that saw it happen is thinking about it. They're not going to let that moment in time. It's going to be with them for the rest of their lives.
Right.
So, that's just how I feel about that. All right.
Good convo, folks.
Since we're on college, we just had a couple of days ago, kind of switching gears a little bit. We just had the National Signing Day for college football, and I want to preface this segment by saying I want to applaud all the young men that signed up to go to school, get their college education paid for. That's a big step, a big burden taken off a lot of those parents in trying to better themselves and go out into the community and do something positive in their community. So kudos to those young men, to the ones that didn't sign. Be patient. It's still a lot of time left. And I don't want a lot of kids to think, because they saw their teammates or they saw this big event happen, that their opportunity is not going to come. So if you're out there and this is your senior year and you didn't sign a couple of days ago, be patient, do your due diligence, and your day is coming if you have the talent to do so. Now, my thing with National Signing Day, I did a little research on this, especially this ESPN 300 that we keep hearing about. This process has been around for about 15, 16 years. Long time after I played high school football. So I'm of the era where you didn't have all this publicity behind your signing day. Normally, it was just your family, your coaches, and whatever school you were going to. That's pretty much all the fanfare you had. It might get in the local paper if they decide to do it, a little story on it. But your signing day was just that, your signing day. Now we see it as a media event, and it kind of rubs me the wrong way because this 300 that you see is a ranking system that ESPN has in place. And normally, what you see out of this ranking system is you see the same Power Five schools getting these top athletes. You go see the Alabama, the Ohio State, the Clemson, and a few others, Auburn, Georgia, all these schools, and that's pretty much all it is. It's a platform for these larger schools to showcase that, hey, look, we can get the top athletes in the nation, and you can't. Because I've seen some of these kids play, and their ranking does not justify what you're seeing. A lot of these kids, not taking anything away from them because, hey, if you got the means, it is what it is. But a lot of these kids are going to these private schools, putting up these astronomical numbers, not playing no real competition. And then they go into these camps and they're getting these stars by Rival and Nike Sport and all these other camps. They're getting these stars and they're automatically, based off what they do at these camps, put in this upper echelon of ranking that makes these colleges pay attention to them. But I mean, I watch these kids. I'm a DB at heart. I watch a lot of DB play. I watch some of these kids that play, and man, to me, them jokers couldn't play for DeVry if I was the coach. I mean, it's bad technique, it's bad coaching, it's just bad attitude. I'm seeing a lot of negativity with some of these kids coming out today, but yet they get rewarded because they showed out at the camp when we all know, especially you, Giff, I'm sure you know, down here in South Georgia, there's a lot of kids out there, man, busting their butt every day. Parents can't afford to send them to no camp.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they go unnoticed.
Yeah.
Right.
Tell me
Yeah.
what you think about it.
I think it's gonna be it's kind of like how the AAU thing is, man. Like you got to pay to play, and if you don't get into that certain camp, you ain't being looked at. That's not gonna help you. So you got a lot of kids that they go to school, like you said, they may not be really successful at that school or whatever they got going on, but then they'll go to this camp and then you just see this kid like pop out of nowhere, and all of a sudden like, hey, they're the number whatever ranked player in the nation at their position, and it's just like they get to college, they either transfer or they fade out because, like you said, it's built off It's not built off competition. It's built off you going to those camps. But my thing is, I mean, it's so many like football programs in America. I used to always just be curious, like, how do they know what school to go to, what they're looking for in a kid? I know size and speed is something you can't teach, but I guess they go to those camps, they like what they see, because I'm just like, they're in shorts and shoulder pads in most of these camps, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
I mean,
they are.
if they either are in pads, most times it's just short and soft helmet that they're in, right? The 7-on-7, things like that. So I just always been confused to me too, because like you said, like South Georgia, a lot of kids down here don't get a whole lot of love as far as when it comes to that route. But you have a team that'll come from South Georgia, go up to Atlanta school. Atlanta school got 3-4 D1 prospects, and that little country school come out of nowhere and lick them good. So
I see it every Friday.
Did he say lick them good?
Yeah.
That's that boy. You can't let that South Georgia and you go.
Yeah.
Can't you?
Yeah, you sound like Ernest T. Bass, bro.
Jumped in the pot too hot.
No, but I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, man. And it is more of an AAU culture. It's like, it's like Michigan, to close to home for thrill. Michigan got the number 2 quarterback pocket pro-style quarterback in the entire recruiting class. And everybody was talking today, is that going to, force Harbaugh to stay in Michigan, which I don't know why they want to keep him. But anyway, that's another story. But anyway, they say he finally got a quarterback now. But they were actually talking about, he was, he's a good quarterback, but I heard a story today, in fact, about Trevor Lawrence. They said Trevor Lawrence was at a football camp several years ago. I think it was on Colin Cowherd's today. He was at a football camp a couple of years ago. He said when he saw Trevor Lawrence throw the football, he was like, he said he's the only high school kid I've ever seen throw a football like that. And one of the scouts or one of the proprietors of the camp even acknowledged how great he was. But he wasn't even the highest ranked quarterback at the camp. It was somebody else.
Where's Lawrence from?
Cartersville,
Georgia.
Okay.
3 state championships.
Yeah. I mean,
he got put out his senior year, I want to say, in the semifinals.
Right.
But I can say, in Trevor Lawrence's defense, being here in Georgia, I watched that kid grow up. I knew he was the real deal without having to see anything at a camp. I saw what he did on Friday night. And that's what I want. The big point of this is a lot of these kids are putting in the work. They got the production on Friday night. They just not going to these camps. But yet these kids are going to these camps that's rated higher than the ones that putting up numbers on Friday night.
Well, you made a good point when you said talking about signing day and the other programs and everything. Quick, like you, I saw the same Colin Cowherd that you were talking about today, where I think that you get a better sample size of these kids if they were better spread out. Say you reduce those scholarships, cut the scholarships down to 70. That way Alabama can't take 9 of these DBs this year that's not going to play anywhere. And instead of this kid going to Alabama and sitting for 3 years, maybe he goes to, maybe he makes his way to Georgia and plays right away. So I'm with you, Gabe. It's all a big hoopla with, like you said, with who can spend the money to send the kids to the camp. And, you got 4 Alabama coaches there. So the kids going to feel like they, showing out. And now that's how they're getting them started. Because, every quarterback, if you don't get invited or go to that elite 11, you can hang that up.
Yeah, you can hang it up.
You can hang that up.
Hang it up.
You can hang that up.
By that same coach we had come out of this flop, Jimmy Clausen, Gunnar Kiel. There's so many quarterbacks you could name that. Not just quarterbacks. I'm not going to pick on them, but a lot of athletes that come out of ESPN 300 and they get to where they're going. They don't even touch the field sometimes.
No, they got to enter the transfer portal.
Yeah, no, they don't have to. They choose to because they don't want to compete.
Right.
See, that's what I'm saying. In the fact that you getting these kids all hyped up based off of media attention, based off these stars that they're getting at these camps, and they ain't played nobody. They coming from these little single A private schools, and everybody, the whole offensive line is probably under 200 pounds. He probably 210, 6'4" as a QB, and just throwing the thing all over the place. So he leaving every game with 400-500 yards. But the competition is not what he's going to face when he gets to college. When you get to college, everybody can play.
Yeah.
So now he done flamed out because it ain't what he thought it was. Or he finna transfer and try to go to a smaller school because that's where he should have been to begin with.
But what's the alternative, though?
Game film, baby. Got to get back to watching game film. Coaches don't want to watch game film no more because there's a lot of athletes out there. They don't want to go and sit in the stands and watch these kids play. All they want to do is go to these mega camps where you got 300 kids. Ain't no damn way you can watch 300 kids. But it's going to be a kid out there that He's going to break 4-5. He's going to be low 4-4. He's automatically, everybody going to watch because he did that with shorts and t-shirts on.
Gotcha.
And he's automatically going to get 2 stars just off 40 times.
Off that 4-5, yeah, that 4-5 gonna give him 2 stars right there.
Gotcha. So Gabe,
he might not be able to catch a cold in the game, but he already got 2 stars.
Right.
So something that Gabe just made me think of, right, is a lot of times, when these kids get ready to go to the NFL, a lot of times you hear coaches say, I don't just want to care about what he's doing in between the white lines. I want to see how he pays attention to coaching when the coach coaches him up on the sideline. I want to see how he interacts with his teammates. I want to see all this. At the high school level, isn't that important too?
Very important.
I think so.
Because they know you ain't going to get more hands-on coach like you going to get at the high school level. Because your ego is checked at the high school level most of the time.
High school is really the last real coaching you're going to get.
Yeah.
Besides your position coach.
Yeah. But
he's not going to teach you. Even your position coach in college is not going to teach you technique.
Yeah.
First of all, they're going to recruit. They're going to recruit so many at your position. The ones that already know how to play technique or the technique that they want to run, they're the ones that's going to play. All they're going to teach you in college is scheme and how to watch film, how to break down your opponent.
Yeah, because I think at the high school level, man, I just feel like it's different because it's different when you get to see that kid after he get out there, he throw that interception, how he respond, how his teammates respond to him, how he respond to coaching when he get coached up by the coaches. I think all that is important because, like I said, a lot of these kids hop in that transfer portal and we ain't never seen them react to adversity or when it gets tough, or when you got that 6'5", 225 defensive end coming at you, your quarterback, and he coming at you every play. What you gonna do?
6'5", 220. You better be at the training table.
Yeah, for real.
We'll need a little bit of weight. 6'5", 220. He gonna end up on his back.
So since we're on the college football topic, I wanted to ask you fellas, who do you think is, based on this season, again, this has been a unique season based on the pandemic and everything that's gone along with that, game cancellations, game reschedules, things of that nature. So who do you think is going to be on the hot seat? And there's a possibility they could lose their job.
You already know how things are looking in Ann Arbor. But let me be the first one to say, and I absolutely think that the seat is hot in Ann Arbor. But I think we as fans sometimes get unrealistic expectations. What people don't realize is that Jim averaged 10 wins a season since he's been there. But that don't count when them losses is to Ohio State and other ranked teams. Now, if that was anywhere else, Gabe, no disrespect, a 10-2 season in Arkansas is going to get you a contract extension.
All the disrespect possible when he said that.
But, at Michigan, and I'm a realist when it comes to my team. Yeah, I'm going to talk smack and everything. But I can tell you after 2 games how many games we're going to win that season. And everybody else, fans and boosters don't want to hear that. And I'll be the first one to say, even as disappointed as I am with our losses, man, I ain't in no rush to get a new coach. That sets your program back at least 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Talk about it. Don't tell me about it. Talk about it. I know.
That sets your program back. Depending on who you bring in and the type of players that you still have there, if they're going to coincide, or now you're going to lose a lot of players to transfer. Because, hey, at the end of the day, I didn't sign a letter of intent to play for Gabe. I signed to play for Quick. So I'm out. And now you done brought in Giff as my offensive coordinator, and He wants to run a spread offense, and I'm a post-style quarterback. Now I got to go. So that seat is hot in Ann Arbor. And I tell you another seat that is hot that I don't think is fair is Coach O at LSU. That seat warming up.
Yeah.
Think it's hot?
I think so, man. I think
He
so.
Shit last year, 3.
And that's why I said I don't think that's fair.
Okay.
Now, he lost a lot. He lost that offensive coordinator. And did they lose that defensive coordinator too?
Yeah, he had back.
And not only that, man, that boy lost a lot of talent to Sundays.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A lot of talent to Sundays. And then you take this crazy season into effect with all the players that opted out and the uncertainty of everything. Man, it's Coach O catching some grief that he shouldn't catch. Now,
hold on now. I'm going to say this.
Go ahead, Gabe. Go ahead, because we didn't talk about it. We didn't talk about it.
Coach O is a game. He's a prop for that program. Like you just said, when Aranda left to go to Baylor and when the OC went to Carolina Panthers.
Went to the Panthers, yeah.
Brady. They were the ones coaching those boys on the field. Coach O was just that sound bite in the media room. He's that rah-rah guy. Coach O showed you who he was when he was at Ole Miss and when he was at USC. He is not the coach that won the national championship. That was on them coordinators. That's all I'm going to say about Coach O. Now, back on the subject of this craziness and who's on the hot seat, I don't think anybody should get fired after this crazy year.
I agree.
This has been a season where cancellation after cancellation, so much indecision going on from the top of the NCAA on down. I think there's one guy, that needs to lose his damn job.
Go to say who it is.
That goddamn Les Miles at Kansas.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Les Miles, they played 9 games. So they played the majority of their season. They played 3/4 of their season. That joker went 0-9 and was not competitive in 9 games.
They wasn't competitive in 9 quarters.
But I heard today the AD, which used to be the athletic director at Arkansas, Mr. Jeff Long, give Les Miles a stamp of approval for another year.
Yeah.
I said, you have got to be out your rabbit ass mind to keep that man on campus. Because the game done passed Les Miles by.
Yeah.
They showed you that at LSU.
LSU, yeah.
You got him in because he was a big name. He had a national championship on his resume. If you can't get 2-3 wins at Kansas, where you're going to play teams like Texas Tech, TCU, West Virginia, those are winnable games.
Right.
You may not win them every year, but those are winnable games. Oklahoma is going to be tough. Texas is going to be tough. But you should be going, out of 9 games, you should be going 4-5, 3-6, something. But to not field a competitive game all season long.
No. A competitive quarter, not a competitive quarter.
You have got to get a young coordinator in there and let that man grow in that position. Kansas is a perfect spot for somebody to grow. I've seen it done before.
Just like we talked about expectations. Ain't no expectations on Kansas football.
No.
Ain't no expectations on Kansas. Shit, 7 games. Wow, we won 7 games, baby. 7 games.
Boy, that's a big accomplishment.
Gabe, you sound like you lobbying for the job, dude.
I can do better than Les Miles right now, baby.
I believe that's right.
I'll take that head coaching job and about 6-7 guys from the pub, and we go out there right now and we put a beat on Sanders, and we can pull at least 2 or 3.
Let me ask y'all this.
Top-tier recruits.
Let me ask y'all this. Since we're talking about how crazy this year is and everything, man, what does that say about what Nick and Dabo is doing with their program? Both of them look like well-oiled machines. And I'll even give Notre Dame some credit, even though I think Clemson's gonna beat the brakes off of them Saturday.
Yeah. Well, it's about recruiting. It's about that. That's all it is. It's about recruiting. And I'll tell you this. I don't follow high school football that much. Mm-hmm. I live in an area, that just has some good high school players. They come out, and a lot of them go to Penn State, like Deshaun Hamilton, who plays with the Broncos right now. And there's another young man who's from my area that's playing at Penn State, and he's doing pretty well.
Penn State just signed a boy from Elkhart.
Yeah.
We got a young boy going to Penn State next year.
Yeah, so I don't follow high school football that closely, but at the college level, it's all about recruiting. You just look at the top 5 recruiting classes that just got released, like Gabe was talking about. It's Alabama, it's Ohio, Clemson, Georgia number 3, Ohio State. It's the same.
Whoa. Don't you ever mention them again.
Okay, Michigan is like number 12, which ain't bad, but it ain't Ohio State because Ohio State's number 2.
What I just say? I swear to God, I just said. Y'all some disrespectful cats in here, boy.
All I'm saying is it comes down to recruiting. If you get the best athletes, the best players on your team, you will be successful. Coaching, and I'm agree with Gabe, coaching at the college level, in my opinion, is overrated. It is. It's overrated. You're going to have a team, like, listen, you're going to have a team that comes along like UCF a couple of years ago that came along and had a good season. They didn't play, but they didn't really play one of the top 5 conference teams. If they did, it was at the bottom level. Uh-huh. You're going to have a team that comes along and surprises people, and he becomes a hot young coach. Guess where he goes and gets a job? At a Power 5 conference. Okay, so they're striving to go there too because they can attract the best recruits. It's about recruiting.
For another day, Gabe, what we say? Everybody ain't for a Power 5. Everybody ain't a Power 5 coach.
No,
boy, that's what we use to get the hotel backlash.
No. Okay, Giff.
I got a coach for y'all. I got a coach for y'all, and y'all gonna be like, I don't think so. And I would love him to keep his job forever because I'm a UGA fan, and we beat them boys every time we see them. Jeremy Pruitt at Tennessee, 16-18 in 3 years, 0-3 versus us, 0-2 versus Bama, and he just lost to UK this year. And you got to remember, Tennessee used to be a powerhouse when they had Philadelphia. Atlanta 3 hours away, so they got further recruiting grounds because Tennessee.
I don't understand how Tennessee fell off as hard as they did.
They like you said earlier, though, Thrill. They got to be careful about this coaching thing because they don't trick this thing off the past 10 years. Palmer retired. They hired Lane Kiffin. He ran out of there. Ran out of USC. Then they had to go and find a quick hire who they went and got. Derek Dewey. He wasn't ready for that. It's easy, like you said, Louisiana Tech expectations they met like Tennessee.
That's SEC football, dog. Look at Arkansas. They suck. I mean, they freaking suck, man. And I mean,
boy.
I mean,
I'm gonna tell you this. Y'all mark this down. Bookmark this video.
I got it. We gonna record it. We record
it. Quick, don't eat them words right there.
Okay.
We down now. Kick us while we down. But that's all right though. I blame Nick Saban for all this because if Nick Saban had
in Arkansas.
Yep. We had the coach to run our program. Nick hit that damn Harley Davidson and that blonde white girl, and Petrino fell for it. He fell for the banana in the tailpipe.
Man, where's that picture at? We need to find that picture, man.
Oh, yeah.
They had Bobby looking bad, didn't they?
And that's something don't forget what I did for you. Remember what I did?
Yeah, Bobby looking bad.
Yeah, Bobby out there.
Bobby didn't deserve that, baby. Bobby didn't deserve that.
Bobby shouldn't have lost his job. Y'all
Yeah,
should have suspended Bobby for a year, no contact with the program, and bought him back.
But you know why they had to fire him though, right? It wasn't about this.
Because she was on the payroll.
Exactly.
She was on the payroll, and she got that job over a lot more qualified candidates.
Well, yeah,
And that's
you
a
saw
public institution. That's
you saw it. I'd have hired her too.
That's a public institution, and they couldn't have that. But Pruitt, I'll be up out of there. But Tennessee scared, man, because they had a chance to go get Graciano, who actually is doing pretty decent at Rutgers this 1 year he's been there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Tennessee did not want him. They did everything they could to make sure he did not get that job.
Yeah, man, but he kind of grimy, dog. You got a lot of baggage that come with him, bro.
And he won at Rutgers.
A lot of baggage that come with him.
He won at Rutgers, man. You got to do something.
The thing you're not realizing, Giff, is Shiano already had a track record at Rutgers. There's no pressure to win.
No, nobody expect you to win at Rutgers. No, at all.
He goes to Tennessee with his standoff attitude like he has.
Right.
You don't want nobody to tell him nothing. And now you're dealing with Tennessee like Texas. You got boosters in your office every day.
Every day.
Sitting behind your desk when you come in.
That wasn't going to be a good fit for Tennessee.
It took Nick 2 rings before them boosters stopped just walking in his office.
Oh, and think about this: when Nick don't win a ring, which don't happen that often, they're like, "What's up, man? What's going on?" I mean, So let me ask you this question, for real, as we close this out. Let me ask you a question: Do you think Harbaugh is going to get fired?
No, it's too much money involved in it. We went too hard to get him, and man, we cannot go back to the Rich Rod, Brady Hoke era. We just can't do that. We cannot do it.
Y'all know how Harbaugh record is at Michigan?
No, what is it?
I don't want to hear it.
49-22.
So he gonna win 9 to 10 games every year. We're going to a bowl, but man, all jokes aside, and I hate giving props. But man, Ohio State is a monster in the Big Ten, bro.
Yeah,
they're a problem, and they're gonna be a problem for a while.
I posted in the pub that we got a spot in the SEC for Ohio State.
Well, send Arkansas over to the Big Ten so they can bottom dwell.
No.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
The Big Ten is wasting Ohio State. They're wasting them because they're playing mediocre talent week in, week out.
And then they get
they get to the dang college football playoff. The media hypes them up. Media hypes them up.
One, it's a big university. They travel well and big boost. Yeah.
Exactly. But then they get to the college football playoffs and they like Notre Dame. They trick it off.
Well, I even say that they're better than Notre Dame because they bring in a better level of talent. Now Notre Dame come in and they get to that. They're used to that SEC speed. At least Ohio State got some SEC speed on the team.
Bro, Ohio State almost lost to Indiana, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't think they beaten Alabama, and honestly, I think if they were Texas,
ain't nobody beating Alabama this year.
Ain't nobody beating Alabama. I think
ain't nobody beat Alabama this year.
I think Ohio State, because of their defense, will have trouble with Georgia, with Florida, if they would win them games at all.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame will give them a run for their money.
Well, we're going to see because that's who they're going to play.
Well, Notre Dame going to get beat down this weekend, so they won't even be in it.
No, even if Notre Dame lose, Notre Dame's not going to fall off the playoffs.
You don't think so?
No, because they got a victory.
No. If Notre Dame loses Saturday, they out.
No, sir.
No, talking about bumping Texas A&M is going to be the beneficiary of anybody that gets upset.
No, sir. No, sir. We'll see. We'll see.
Wow.
Notre Dame is in. Notre
Okay,
Dame is in.
okay. If Clemson,
The only way
is lobbying
is if Clemson hang half 100 on them and blow them out.
which ain't gonna be too far fetched.
right.
Trevor Lawrence is itching to get out there.
Well, yeah, and that Dabo a little pissed right now. Anyway,
Hey, Dabo, he know how to hold a grudge.
Oh yeah, man. Dabo mad as hell.
And Dabo
When they storm that field, when them fans storm that field, he said, "Okay, I'm putting that down in my memory bank." Gotcha.
I know.
See y'all in a couple weeks.
And he didn't have his golden boy. He didn't have Sunshine out there with him either.
And
y'all had to go to double overtime to beat us. Oh yeah, Dabo gonna run the score up on that dude, man. Watch.
Now, what Florida got for Nick this weekend?
Oh, nothing. They gonna get the beat up.
What you gonna show?
It's gonna be close for a quarter.
Don't even show.
14-14 at the end of the first quarter. Nick and them, they always start off a little slow on defense. But then once they figure it out and they find out where you want to go, that front four gonna put pressure on Trask, and it's gonna be a shootout. I mean, a runaway from there on out. It'll be 14-14 or 7-7 at the end of the first quarter. By the time they get to that end of that third quarter, Alabama will be up by 21.
28-7.
No, I think it's gonna be something like 42-28.
No, I said at the end of the third quarter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They'll be up by 21 by the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, they're gonna beat the brakes off Florida. All right, well, you know what? I appreciate it, fellas. And this is interesting times that we're living in right now. And we just want everybody out there to be safe, and especially over the holidays. Oh, before I forget, our annual Week 14 pick'em from last week. The bastard Gabe won with a 12-4 record. Thrill finished.
No, he didn't.
3-1.
No, Gabe won. Gabe was
12-4 better than 13-3.
12-4. Oh, you're right. My bad. Gabe won. Thrill won 13-3. Gabe was 12-4. Giff 9-7. Unfortunately, yours truly finished at 7-9, but that's all right.
Well, that South Georgia education is a mug, ain't it?
Yeah, you know what? Go to hell.
What? Who was
So we
that school teacher?
y'all stupid. Anyway.
And them trainers in the back of the school.
Anyway, just wanted to say thank you guys. I know. Thank you guys again for joining us. And please keep following us on the YouTube channel. Again, I appreciate my brothers Gabe, Thrill, and Giff. We'll see you guys after the holidays. Much love to everybody.
Y'all have everybody be safe out there. Have a good happy holiday. Don't eat too much. And we'll see you later. Peace out.
Hit that like and subscribe. We'll see y'all soon.